guys, welcome back everyone, welcome back to another week, another edition of the Sparkling Tuna Cup number 51. It's good to be back here. Welcome everyone to the Cranky Ducklings. I'm of course Show's Live VIP. With me I'm joined by the amazing people in the chat, by these incredible players, and by my lovely plushies as well. Welcome everyone, welcome to your weekly dose of open StarCraft here on the Cranky Ducklings. For those that are maybe unfamiliar with Sparkling Tuna Cup, it is a weekly open tournament. We have been hosting it for a number of years now, and it is great to be back here once again with another week, bringing together all of these regions, all these players. The bracket is stacked, exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. We have players like Cristiano, we have Geralt, we have Nikic, we have Wayne, we have Uwu Thermal as well. Mark is here for the first time making his debut, and we even have some Koreans in Control and Keen. Oh boy. So we'll be getting into it. We'll be going over the bracket once we wrap up this series, because spawning in the top left hand corner we have our red Protoss player representing Storm Gaming. It is MindelVK. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner we have as opponent, we have the blue Protoss player, no longer Zerg, making the full conversion here from Zerg into Protoss. He has seen the lights, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Eva. Now I did ask Eva if we were completely switching to Protoss, and Eva did say yes, but may have been joking, may have been a little bit lighthearted there. I'm not fully certain. But for those who are maybe unfamiliar, Eva is, for the UK, is a Zerg player, was a Zerg player for a long time, is even an Epic LAN champion. But over the past year, we have seen Eva off-race a lot as Protoss, has been embracing it a lot, and has been finding a lot of success with it, and has been enjoying it a lot more as well. From my understanding, playing Zerg can be frustrating at times, can be annoying at times, and Eva is just enjoying playing Protoss a little bit more instead. Has been embracing it that much more as of recent months, and yeah, now we have a PvP. Let's go. Yesterday we were live, of course, with the Logic Games, and we did cast Eva against Baby Marine in a PvT as well. So again, Eva has been consistently playing as Protoss for some time now, and whether it's a permanent switch or not, I feel like still yet to be determined. We'll see if Eva does it come back to the Zerg or commits to Protoss. We shall see. For now, we're going to be settling in across the map. To have MindelVK going for a double gate opener, likewise Eva doing the same as well. Now what's important here is that Eva actually doesn't really all-in much at all in PvP. We've been casting a lot of Eva's PvP against players like MindelVK, against players like Cristiano as well, and players like Geralt. And Eva often does go for a more heavy macro style, but very aggressive, very gateway heavy, I should emphasize, with Mass Blink Stalker, with Mass Charge Lots, usually making use of a stronger economy to overwhelm his opponent. And we'll see if we can get into that as we do go for our Nexus on the low ground. Both players are going to be expanding. Again, so far 2 gate openers, no faster tech, no delays on the expansion. So we're settling into our PvP. Alright, settling in. Again, I also apologize for the delayed start to the tournament, but we have things underway. We have begun, we won't stop. I'm good. I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, I'm good. Meanwhile, Hallucinations Guy going to be coming in, getting eyes on the Robo opener of MindelVK. Meanwhile, Eva going for the Twilight Council. We spoke about this before. We spoke about how Eva does typically like playing a mass gateway heavy composition with past Twilight Council. Blink is going to be on the horizon here for a more mobile army. Meanwhile, MindelVK with the faster Robo can get into faster immortal production and play a more defensive style. I say defensive style, this can turn into an offense. This can become quite aggressive if we commit with like 2-3 immortals and move out. I will see though, as for the time being, MindelVK is defending and expanding. Third base is being taken. We have sentries that defend. Hallucination Guy comes in. Hallucination does confirm third base. So Eva's fully aware of how greedy MindelVK is being and how defensive he's going to be set up as well. And back at home, Eva going for his own third base, slightly later than that of MindelVK by a couple of seconds. Not the biggest delay here for that third, as it is now being thrown down. Mindel, meanwhile, working towards his immortal production. As I did mention, again, because Mindel won't have any Blink Stalkers, we have to make up for that with a Mass Immortal to help with that Stalker deficit. So the immortal count is going to be beginning, and it shouldn't be stopping anytime soon. Meanwhile, we do see Eva applying some pressure. He saw that his third base was later, so there is some onus on Eva to get some damage done. To move out and to pick off a sentry, a stalker, a probe, even some adepts. Speaking of, we will catch them. Ooh, one adept goes down. Force fields do catch 2 stalkers, and can we get away? Oh god! That's a lot of force fields, and we don't get a... Oh god! We don't get a single stalker. We do manage to get away. That was a bit much. That was 5 force fields being thrown down. Ooh, and this time it looks like we do catch some stalkers. It's going to cost us the rest of the force field. We get 1, we get 2, we get 3. Ooh, we get almost 4. As Blink does finish up in time. Much better catch there towards the end from MindelVK, catching 4 stalkers. And now we're going for a big counterattack. Eva back at him, getting ready. With shield batteries on the way, additional stalkers as well. Hallucinating an immortal. Hoping to tank some shots. But the observer will confirm the fake immortal. Once again, good force fields, and we have control of the third base. We do see a couple of adepts shading in. Okay, we do deal with them, at least. But again, trying to break through this immortal is not going to be easy now. There's not actually much support anymore. We've been spending a lot of force fields, and now we're out of energy. We have 1 force field left, and MindelVK will retreat. Again, very mature decision. Once we realize that we're out of energy, that we're out of force fields, we're not going to try to press the issue. Otherwise, MindelVK would lose everything. So we pull back home, we establish our third base, we build up the immortal count, and we settle in from here. That is Glaives. Glaives are on the way. This tells us that MindelVK wants to be hyper aggressive here, reinforce with Glaive Adepts, and try to push in with immortal Glaives. This is going to be a very aggressive timing here from our red Protoss player. Eva is pushing in first, though. Glaives just beginning. And here comes Eva, now with Blink, and soon to be +1. Again, this +1 timing is going to be huge here for Eva. But breaking these immortals is not going to happen. He cannot break the third base head on. We can try to avoid the main army. Maybe pick off some sentries, maybe rotate into the natural. Eva has to back up. As he pulls back, he's working on the fourth base and working on charge lots. Again, Blink Stalker Charge is going to be his composition of choice, which is quite mobile and quite flexible. We can harass, we can counterattack. But again, this immortal count's getting quite hefty. We're working on our fourth immortal. Glaives is finishing. Here's that gateway explosion. Fourth base is going to finish up. We can see that MindelVK, he's not taking extra gases. And we're just waiting for our moment to commit. There we go. More depths are on the way. The War Prism is in production. Once the Prism comes out, then MindelVK, he's going to be committing. He's going to be moving out with everything he has. And it's going to be a tough hold for Eva. You can see Eva getting ready. We have a wall of cannons and shield batteries. Eva is aware of how much danger he's in. Did not take a fourth. And we could end up in a weird base trade here as the armies, they pass by each other. Adepts, they shade across the map. Eva is aware. Eva turning back around. He's caught on the low ground. It cannot push up this ramp. It's not going to happen. Eva turning back around. We don't commit to the base trade. And can Eva hold? Here we go. We see Eva coming in from behind the Prism. The War Prism is going to be sniped. Very nice catch there by Eva. Force fields are thrown down. We do catch a handful of Stalkers. But it looks like MindelVK just doesn't have enough to break through. He cannot reinforce. Takes down a pylon, but pushing into this wall of defense is not going to work. He could bypass the wall. Going for the shade. Quite commit. At the same time, charge as they head across the map. They hit the fourth base. Eva's still on 3, still has yet to expand. Very nice target firing there. We do get 8 probes across the map. Very nicely done. 8 workers full. From here, Eva can expand. There we go. It is a bit of a later fourth, but MindelVK isn't even mining from his own. So Eva is making up for that. And now we're moving out. We are moving out as Eva does counterattack. Mindel. turning back around is forced to recall. Put out of position, forced to recall. We can see him collapse on the army on the right-hand side, but Eva, he moves in towards the left. The recall is now on cooldown. We are picking off some workers. Co-workers go down. Eva does blink away with most of his army. Oh, bleeds out a couple of stalkers. Does bleed out a couple. Eva racing back home. Now taking a worker lead. Establishing his 4th base. And now we can see MindelVK working towards charge +3. Working away from the initial adept timing that he was trying to go for. That's a lot of immortals. Now, Eba's been skipping immortal production. We already have the Bay. We have a 2nd robot on the way, and we are working towards disruptors instead. Eba just having a bit of a higher tier army at this point. Stalkers struggle against immortals, but disruptors, they don't care. Immortals, they can't blink, they can't get away, at least not without a warp prism. Speaking of, the prism is on the right-hand side. This nation does confirm that we can see MindelVK working towards phoenixes. Phoenix production from Mindel. And phoenixes are a good alternate way to deal with these disruptors because we lift. They can lift, Poppy, they can lift. They can crowd control and CC these disruptors and strip away their potency here in the army. The downside, of course, is we have mass blink stalkers, so we're gonna have to try to either commit to a dive or bypass the stalkers to get onto those disruptors. A lot of this will come down to whether or not those purification novas connect. As we are on 3 disruptors for the time being. Zealot drop towards the natural. We should have a warping available at the same time the main army does push towards the 4th. Prism system, we force a recall. We force a recall into the main base. We go for the prism at the same time. MindelVK is pushing in. We have disruptors. First nova goes off, sends away the army. Stalkers back at home, they defend, they do not catch the prism. People are trying to. As here come those pieces! And they lift every single disruptor. Not a single nova will connect. And Eva, he has to back off. Does blink back, saves the disruptors. And they have novas. Oh my god, doesn't connect. But the pieces are going down. We've lost every single phoenix. And 4 disruptors survived. He was holding. Some of those things where MindelVK, he was able to lift up all the disruptors, but he wasn't able to kill them. Wasn't able to get on top of them. As we bleed out an immortal. Mindel rotating on the right-hand side. Switching over. Zealot warping as well, coming to harass. And the Nova! Ooh, big connection! Immortals, they can take a couple of Novas to the face. Does hurt. As finally we catch some of these disruptors at the same time, Zealot Runway gets a kill on the 5th. Nexus is going to be going down. Eva forced to pull back home. I will say, though, that Eba does have the supply lead here. Still has been able to out-trade his opponent. He's at a base, but still has a lot of disruptors here in the back line. And Mindel, he's still committing to Immortals, still trying to rebuild all these Phoenixes. There's have been some rough trades for Mindel. But coming in again. Oh. They're catching some Adepts. And here we go, the rest of the army is collapsing here. Eba sending everything across the map. He wants to go for the kill. Now MindelVK stuck on the back foot. Oh! Raises an Archon, takes down a Stalker. Charger's going to be coming in. Ooh, but they take a big Nova to the face. Ooh, once again. Pulling back, knocking down those rocks. allowing his reinforcements to come in a little bit more freely. Looking at the armies, we have 6 Immortals, 5 Archons here for Mindel. That's a lot of Zealots. Trying to set up a flank. Doesn't quite get it. We can see Eba rotating over towards the 5th. Never goes up. Is denied. To get one connected with the army. Another massive connection on the Zealots. No! On the Zealots and the Immortals as well. Big connections. Ay, ay, ay. And we do catch a couple of these Disruptors. They've done well. We're barely holding on with a handful of these Immortals. Eba still on 3 Disruptors. He's ready to keep pushing. Ready to keep on going. Oh god! The Novas, they just keep connecting. Mana, is that you? You were here last night, you understand. Was it Mana or was it Geralt? Was it both? Charge, we'll take dive on forward. This time it looks like we do get on top of those Disruptors. And they're going to be lifted, they're going to be shut down. Much better engage here from Mindel. Cleans up 3 Disruptors, but there's still 2 more. Oh my god. The splits are just not good enough. Mindel, he takes him to the face, going for a Zealot run by the right hand side. We have cannons, we have shield batteries, we have an overcharge. But has enough to defend. The armies are still neck and neck. Even though we've had some good purification overs, at the same time, we've also been bleeding out a lot of Disruptors. At this point, it might even be worth Eba getting a 3rd Robo to make 3 Disruptors at a time. Especially if we're bleeding out this many. It's going up. We have 1 Nova left. And it does graze an Immortal. Not the best connection. Ooh. Taking out some Zealots. Connected with the Archon. Eba just cannot break the main army here of MindelVK. I mean, it's so tanky with all these Archons and Immortals. We can take us like a good amount of Novas to the face and still keep pushing. It's the power of Mindel's army. It's just so tanky. I guess our goal here is to overwhelm Eba, to push past the Novas. We'll see if we can. We have a couple of shots left. East is doing well for themselves. They pick up a couple of the Disruptors. We're down to 2. Yeah, 2 Disruptors remaining. The Mass Archon ball breaking through. Mindel, for the first time in a long time, takes a supply lead. And now it's Eba's turn to be outscaled. Again, if he had been able to retain some of these Disruptors, then it would be a different story, but yeah, we're down to 3, and that's just not enough. Not enough to pierce this kind of armor. This kind of army. Nova's gonna be lifted. Gonna be denied. 3 Novas left. Decent connections. But Eba, he's bullied back. We get on top of the 4th base. The Nexus does go down. We're trying to engage with the army. Nova going off. Will connect. But Eba bleeds out 24 probes. And we have to keep pushing. We have to try to chase this down. Oh. Doesn't quite get the Immortal. Eba down to 4 bases. MindelVK getting a 6th. Yeah, Mindel with his superior economy. He's just outscaling Eba here. Is just being outscaled. And we're going for the 4th base, the most crucial mining base here for Eba. Forced to recall. The Disruptors are exposed! Oh, this was not the recall we were looking for. GG gets called, and MindelVK takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. A solid win there for Mindel. Again, things were looking a little bit, things are looking a little bit, shaky early on, where Eba was able to outtrade his opponent, was able to get into his Disruptors as well, was doing well for himself, getting some very nice Novas. But eventually this robust army of MindelVK got larger and larger with those Immortals, with those Archons, and eventually he was able to get into his stride, get up to 6 bases, or get up to 5, eventually 6. GG, well played. And in the end, Mindel will take a lead. Will take a lead, and we're getting ready for game number 2. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Sheshra Cheetah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session, I'm assuming. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Cranky Ducklings, the Sparkling Tuna Cup. This is a weekly open tournament. Oh, and we're still in the early rounds. We're still in the first round of the tournament. Still in our first series. Plenty more StarCraft to come. Plenty more. Plenty more. Toast me, Pav. Esther rowdy. Calm down. But yes, Eva is committed to Protoss. He is committed, and we'll see if we can get some more of Eva's Protoss here. Can we force the ace match? Can we go all the way to game 3? The pressure is on. And we're loading in. As spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Alcyone, we have our red Protoss player representing Storm Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is MindelVK. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player from the land of the UK, from the land of England, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Eva. There we go. For some reason, my numbers weren't working. Beautiful. It's like my keyboard was spazzing out a little bit there, but have our setup. We have our series score. MindelVK 1 game away for advancing on into the next round. Eva is up against the wall. Meanwhile, we have some updates happening on the bracket. Just quickly having a glance over. The tournament is progressing. Ooh. We'll see who's going to be one of our first to make it to the quarterfinals. Who will advance on? So far, it's going to be a 2-gate opener here. Double gate opener out of MindelVK. Double gate opener from Eva. We are opening up 2 gates. And we'll keep an eye on the initial units here. Do either player deviate and go into Adepts? Do we go into Double Stalker? Do we go Stalker Sentry? Again, Stalker Sentry openers have been very popular as of late, especially with the buff to the Sentry. It is a very safe way to open up and very secure. It has been the go-to for a lot of players. For those that are maybe unfamiliar, the Sentry buff was the Sentry is no longer a light unit. What that means is that the Sentry takes less damage from Oracles, it also takes less damage from Adepts. So, specifically in PvP, it's a little bit more robust. Also, the Sentry does bonus damage to shields. So, specifically, it's a buff versus Protoss players in PvP. Does bonus damage, and there it is, Stalker Sentry here by MindelVK, Stalker Sentry by Eva. And the buffs, they don't mean that, you know, the Sentry is being used in a massive amount in like these big armies or anything like that. It just means that in the early game, this opener is far safer. It also allows you to go for the Hallucination Scout as well, and it means that the Sentry itself isn't as vulnerable as it once was. So yeah, this is kind of the go-to. We do cancel the Stalker. Oh my god. Okay, Eva cutting corners, cancels the Stalker, goes for a slightly faster expansion. MindelVK's base is going to be slightly later here as he did invest into said Stalker. So Eva cutting some corners and is going to get a slight advantage as a result. Both players going for their Twilight Councils. MindelVK going for his own hallucination. They do pass by each other. Again, with these hallucinations, we can keep an eye on any kind of tech that we're working with, whether it's a Twilight Council, a Stargate, a Robo, a Dark Shrine. These hallucination scouts are so important here in PvP. I mean, I'm sure you're aware that there's a lot that Protoss players are capable of, and if it wasn't for these hallucinations, PvP would be a lot more chaotic. which, you know, it's a give and take there. You know, do we want it to be more chaotic? Do we want it to be even more of a coin flip? I mean, I think some people would like that. Of course, for the players, though, they wouldn't. So it's all about that scouting. We see all, we know all. With that, our players are settling into their 2-base setups. Going for a hallucination scout here. Was left-hand side. For those that are curious, if you hallucinate a probe, you actually spawn in multiple probes. It's a bit of a give and take. This is specifically good in PvP because it allows you to fan out your probes and catch any kind of proxy pylons or anything like that. The downside is obviously you're limited to the terrain. Unlike a Phoenix or an Oracle, you cannot just zoom wherever you want. So it's a good way to fan out and to find proxies of the sort. As it say, shade into the main. Slips into the main base, gets 2 probe kills, but is going to be shut down. And to get 1 extra probe up. Can we? We might be able to. We get a shot in, and it looks like we do not get the probe. 2 workers for 2 adepts. I would say a good defense here from MindelVK. Cleaner defense. Does minimize his losses. Both players building up towards their 3rd bases. Players are selling in. So now we have charge on the way. Interesting, so we've gone from blink into charge from MindelVK. So this is a very stark contrast to what we saw in the previous game. If you remember, in game 1, MindelVK went for a Robo Opener into Mass Immortal, into a very kind of more robust, bit of a slower moving army, but a stronger army overall. Here we're going into Blink into Charge. This is a lot more akin to what Eva was playing with in the last game. And Eva is doing the same. So both players being very gateway heavy with Stalker Zealot. No one investing in 20 Immortals. Stalkers are moving out. We'll see where this does take us. Again, just trying to get some map control, some map vision. Eva taking another base. It looks like we're just fully embracing Archeona. Again, this map is known for its macro play, just because there are so many bases to take, so many bases to expand to. There's the center goal base, there's the fringe bases on the right-hand side, also towards the left, and the rich vesting gas geyser bases as well. And we often see this map cut in half. It does often happen. And we may be getting there once again. Now, MindelVK, he decides to delay his 4th. He has yet to expand, and instead, where do we spend that money? We spend it on an Immortal and on a Templar Archives, working up and building up towards Archons and Immortals once again. Meanwhile, Eva goes for a better economy. Expands. So Eva's still going to be committing here with the gateway composition. Not deviating yet. Just going to rotate around towards that natural, but Mindel's keeping up. Oh! Despite that, we blink on in. Shibari gets focused down, and no more overcharge at the natural. The Immortal pops out, but it's going to be focused down. Nice catch there from Eva. Gets the Immortal. We come in for a concave. And MindelVK, he's in a bit of trouble. But with these reinforcements, with those zealots, it looks like we force Eva back. We force him out. Eva will have to retreat. MindelVK, defense. And does hold on. Forcing back the army. I mean, that was still, I would say, a better trade for Eva in the sense that he got the Immortal at least. Did bleed out extra Stalkers. Got the Immortal, got a couple of probes. Eva still has an insane economy behind this with 70 workers. But here comes MindelVK, and Eva does miss the army. Doesn't see, he doesn't know. And do we go for a base trade? MindelVK is going to be pushing in, and do we recall back home, or do we push towards the 3rd? Army is spotted. Eva, we're pushing. We're going to be trading a base for a base. Eva's going to be losing his 4th. Does evacuate, but he gets a kill on the 3rd. That is a more valuable base. MindelVK pushing towards the third base as well. He wants to go for the kill. Gets the pylon. Depowers static defense. Eba, he's recalling back home. Recalls towards the natural. MindelVK was bleeding out some units, and I'm not too sure he can take this fight. He's going to try it. And charge ups are coming in to reinforce. We have those two Archons in the back line as well. Probes are going down, but Eba, he can afford to lose some. And with Eba's reinforcements, he's going to be overwhelming this. There's just too much Protoss, blue Protoss even. With focus out the Archons, they go down one after the other. And only Stalkers remain for MindelVK. There's just not that many of them. And Eba, he saved his probes. Heavily oversaturated, but he did save them. So even losing the space, it won't matter. Because Eba has a fourth. Has a backup third. Across the map, Mindel lost his third base, lost his fourth base. He's stuck on 2 base saturation. Barely an economy here for Mindel. And Eba has double the probe count. Double the probe spot. Oh my god. We can resaturate. Getting our third up and running. Taking another base, long distance mining. Eba looking comfortable. If Eba hadn't been forced to recall, then maybe we could have entered like a more base trade scenario, and maybe MindelVK would have been favored there, potentially. But Eba just had the larger army. The better economy, everything here in favor of Eba. And now MindelVK coming in for the last push. The last hope for our red Protoss player. We dive on the army, focus down the Prism. Prism goes down. Mindel has almost nothing left. GG gets called, and we are going to the ace match. GG. Oh my god. We are going to game 3. Again, Mindel hyper committed, chose not to expand, chose to double down on Immortals and on Archons. The all-in or the committed push there by MindelVK left a little bit to be desired there, just because he did lose the Immortal before the fight even started, if you remember. The Immortal died at the natural, so didn't even have that to make use of either, and yeah, just didn't have enough to actually make that all-in work. And with that, Eba ties up the series. Now we're going to game 3, to the ace match. Let's go. And then how does the story end? Who will make it into the quarterfinals? We have a couple players already in said quarterfinals, but there's no one waiting for this series, not yet. Other matches are still ongoing. Oh, and it looks like game 3 is going to be taking place on Golden Aura. Okay. Golden Aura is coming up next. Here we go, loading into the ace match. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our red Protoss player representing Storm Gaming, being forced into the ace match. Can he bring it back? It is MindelVK. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss. Was once a Zerg, but now has embraced the color from the land of the UK. Representing the Platinum Heroes, it is Eba. The mask is off. No more pretending to be Zerg. Oh, Smirch. Has left the swarm behind him. Embracing the Protoss. Smirch. Here we go. I mean, for a long time, Eba was basically like Raynor, where for certain matchups he would play Protoss and off-race. But Eba has taken it one step further. Likewise, Raynor has been playing more Protoss as well, as of late. Even against more than just Zerg players. Which has been interesting to see. has been interesting. As for now, we do see Eva just patrolling around, scouting, confirming the main base. It is going to be a double gate opener here out of MindelVK, 2-gate opener out of Eva. There have been some players like Geralt and Christiana who have been, and even Mana, who have been mixing in max packs openers and more greedy economic builds in PvP, but it looks like neither Eva or MindelVK are one to embrace that. So there's no greed here. Just 2-gate openers. It's going to be Stalker Sentry out of MindelVK. An opener we've seen plenty of so far. Meanwhile, Eva opening up double Adept. And the question becomes, do we double down? It could just be 2 Adepts, or we could throw down a 3rd and 4th Adept. We go up to a 5th and 6th. We could even go up to 8 Adepts here. See how aggressive we want to be. Stargate behind this before the expansion. So Eva working towards Oracle, so it's going to be Adept Oracle Harass. But only 2 Adepts. As Eva does follow it up with Stalkers. Oh, hello! Meanwhile, Mindel throwing down a proxy gateway across, proxy pylon across the map. The Adepts are found out. Oh, MindelVK gets the first shot in. That's a lot of hits on that first Adept. We do shade away. But we have to respect that sentry. As again, sentries, they can now hold their own. They can now tank so many more shots here against Adepts. One Adept tries to shade in, but we do fully wall off. We hunt that Adept down. We even lock it down with the force field. Both Adepts fall. Meanwhile, across the map, we can see MindelVK pushing up into the natural. Delaying reinforcements. He has control of the low ground. Island is done. Warp Gate is finishing. Meanwhile, in the main, Eva working towards the Oracle. There's reinforcements. Mindel wants to keep the pressure up, but Eva gets supply blocked. Uh-oh. That's a pretty big supply block here for our blue Protoss. No reinforcements. Clutch force field. We lock down the army. The Stalkers, they're going to be going down. And MindelVK snowballing out of control. He shuts down 2 of those Stalkers. He has a massive Stalker lead. We see Eva desperately going for a big counterattack with the Oracle to try to get something done, but we have a shield battery. We have a shield battery in position. That's going to be a kill on the natural. Eva cannot save it. And with this shield battery, what can be done? We go for the stasis instead. We catch a probe. But this is not enough damage. MindelVK is expanding. And Eva stuck on 1 base. We're going to try and focus down the probe, and we can maybe get 1 up. Oh, not even. Worker survives. Hallucination Scout comes in. We get eyes on the Robo on the 3rd gateway. This is looking like a 1 base all-in. But Eva is forced into the all-in. What else can he do? What else can Eva do? Gateway will fall. Eva down to 2 gates. Soon to be 3. So we throw another one down. Breaks out. Mindel back at home working towards Blink. Oracle is still alive, still active. Here comes the all-in. Looking at the units tab, Eva has half the Stalker count, has an Immortal, has some sentries. The intercept comes in, and can we get the Prism? Oh, not quite. That would have been huge. Mindel forced a recall. We have a shield battery. 2nd shield battery. Oh, is denied. Don't quite throw it down. We have the overcharge. Oh, we are holding onto it. So far, the Blink's not looking too bad. The overcharge is going to be popped. Good juggling here from Eva. But despite that, it's still being forced back. There's just too much here. We dive on the Prism. Prism is going to be targeted. Does fall. And Eva's going to bleed out every other unit here. GG, and MindelVK will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the quarterfinals. GG. GG, well played again. That was a brutal supply block for Eba where he just wasn't able to break out. Likewise, MindelVK, hyper aggressive here from our red Protoss player. Just not allowing Eba to get into his game. To get into his setup. Again, it was a brutal moment where Eba invested heavily into, invested into that Stargate. The Stargate didn't do anything, wasn't able to get any damage done across the map, didn't even kill a probe, and that was a big investment, and again, it just didn't help when it came to dealing damage across the map or defending back at home. Mindel just took a massive lead there, and with that, GG. Well played. Well played. Mindel would take it, and Eba is going to be knocked out of the tournament. Again, this is a single elimination bracket, single elimination tournament. One shot, one chance is all you do have